Welcome everyone and Chag Sameach to you. I'm gonna have to try that again. That was a massive fail, at least for me. There was no reflection on your part. I obviously didn't get the job done. Chag Sameach, everyone. I did better the second time. It is wonderful to see all you here. We have a wonderful mix as we are accustomed to seeing on this night. Obviously, the family members of our confirmation class of 5783 here in force. Also, longtime members of our community who know what this night is here in force. The ones who look so forward to this night because they know it will be the single most creative and norm-shattering worship experience that will take place at Leobeck Temple until next year's confirmation class does it again. And so once you've seen it once, it has a way of kind of collecting its own crowd. And so to all of you who are longtime members of our community and have been to a lot of other Shavuot evening celebrations of confirmation, and we're not going to miss this one, welcome to you. I also want to point out that we always have, and again this year have, past confirmands. That's another thing. If you were a part of this experience and you're in college and you happen to be back in town, or you're all grown up and you happen to be back in town, you're curious. What does this year's group come up with? And so we've got a number of past confirmands kind of sprinkled around the room tonight as we are accustomed to seeing. Some of them go back with me a long, long way. Past confirmands from my very earliest years at the temple. Some of them are here with us. And so that's kind of fun too. This night is not, quote unquote, just confirmation. That is to say, confirmation takes place, the celebration of our 10th graders takes place on the night of Shavuot. It is unfortunate that Shavuot has kind of, at least in American Jewish life, has gotten a little bit of the short end of the stick. If you look in the Hebrew Bible, you look in the Torah scroll itself, Leviticus chapter 23, bang, there it is, right alongside Pesach and Sukkot. So when you think of the significance of those holidays in Jewish tradition, Shavuot is its equal. This is the holiday on which we are taught in the Jewish tradition that our people received the Torah at Mount Sinai. And so the reason why every year, you might be wondering, why is this on Thursday night instead of Friday night or Sunday night or some other more convenient night? The reason is tonight is the arrival of the festival of Shavuot. Some of you know we've been counting the Omer, counting the days literally since the beginning of Pesach until we completed 7 weeks of 7 days. Get to that 50th day, it is time for the celebration of Shavuot. And so every year we entrust one of the 3 most significant Jewish holidays on the calendar to our 10th grade students. Why? Because we know that they will give full heart, soul, spirit, questioning to everything that they do. And they bring all of that ripe goodness for us to experience as we look into the Torah with new eyes, their eyes. And so in celebration of the confirmation class, we are together marking this Shavuot evening, this festival of the receiving of Torah at Mount Sinai. It is my pleasure, as we prepare to start the service, to welcome forward our temple president, Iris Weinman, to share some remarks and to light the festival candles.
Good evening. It is my honor to welcome all of you to our Shavuot and confirmation service of 5783, those of you joining in person and those of you joining us on the live stream this evening. I'm actually here in a dual capacity tonight, both as Leobeck Temple's president, but also as an aunt to one of our confirmands, Kyle Cohen. While I might not have known all of our confirmands like Kyle since birth, I have known some of you for a really long time. Some since they were in the preschool together, some were in a parent and me class together. Many others I have known for many years through the LBT religious school, and we have watched our kids grow up together. I've also worked with so many of you in all corners of temple life, whether on the board or the executive committee or elsewhere in temple leadership, and we've shared many Shabbat dinners, holidays, retreats, temple events, and simchas together. It has been a joy watching our kids grow up together, and I feel so privileged to be able to share this special evening with all of you. Based on what I know about the teens in this confirmation class, I know that we are about to learn from and be inspired by a group of creative, talented individuals. So enjoy, and Chag Shavuot Sameach.
If you'll turn to page 1 of the prayer book, you'll find there the blessing for the festival candle lights, which we are about to kindle.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kijanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Yom Tov.
Okay.
Hello. I really like the microphone. I don't know if that's good. To me, My Jewish identity takes the form of community and the overall experience of just being Jewish. The people that are around me are why I come to temple. Very few 7-year-olds want to come to temple to pray. They want to come to see their friends. And to this day, I still like getting to see people I don't often get to see otherwise. Although I have come to appreciate actually being and experiencing being Jewish. I thought I would explain this in a little more detail with a physics metaphor, because I'm a huge nerd. So, let's start. First, we have the universe. It's massive. Actually, it's infinite as far as we know. But did you know, if you place 2 items on either side of a completely empty universe, say a Hamantashen and a Torah, did you know those 2 things will eventually find their way to each other? Why? Gravity. But Shayna, how is there gravity if the universe is empty? Well, it's not anymore. There's a Hamantashen and a Torah now, I just told you. Anyway, these 2 things have mass. Anything with mass has gravity. So over millions and billions of years, the force of that gravity will slowly drag the Torah and the Hamantashen together. Didn't fix my script. So already, everything in our universe has something in common. Let's name our universe. All the Jews. Past, present, and future. Mass is the fact that we're Jewish. And let's give gravity a small subtitle. We're going to call it the Jewish link. Let's zoom in a little bit, though. Here's our galaxy. It's a clump of Jews held together with gravity, aka Leo Beck Temple. There's a black hole in the center of this galaxy, which is a supermassive black hole. This is the Torah. And all the other galaxies are their own communities of Jews. Look how pretty they are. They're so pretty. They're so cool. Anyway, back to our galaxy. One last time, we're going to zoom in again. This is the solar system. It's filled with a lot of interesting stuff, like planets, and that one weird uncle everyone disowned. This solar system is my religious school class. Ooh, there we go. 10th grade class, yay! We've grown up together, gone through stuff together, and we've had some fun along the way, all held together by gravity, which we established as the Jewish link. The Jewish link means that no matter where you are in the universe, you are attracted to other Jews simply because you have mass, or for this metaphor, because you are Jewish. I am connected to millions of people that I have never met. Isn't that really freaking cool? I like matzah, and a Jew in one of these galaxies likes matzah. And a Jew in that other galaxy over there doesn't practice the religion, but it's part of their ethnic identity, and therefore they're still connected. And just like the universe, I don't understand all the Jews. I don't know all the customs and all the stories, but the ones I do know, I love. It's just nice to know that there's an entire universe out there of people who've had the same experiences and have the same traditions. I like seeing people like me out in the universe. I like living those experiences and going to temple and just being. I can't explain it. I just like going to temple and simply being Jewish. And I really like doing all of that with a core group of people that I know. Anyway, I made a quick video showing my class growing up with a small animation to take us back through our journey. Hopefully it'll work. Please work. Yay!
Hi, welcome to SharePayroll.com.
right, I'm ending the video.
I missed you.
We rise for the Barahu. Please be seated.
Hello. So for my confirmation project, I've decided to create a digital illustration to represent important chapters in my life and my connection to Judaism. My illustration works like a story. It begins at the bottom of the page and goes upwards. Each stage gets more visually complex to represent the increasing complexity of life as you age. I decided to start at what I consider to be the beginning of my story. At the very bottom of the illustration, you will see what I consider a representation of me in the 4th grade. Say, in my right hand is my horrible witch teacher who would bully, mock, and humiliate me in the previous year. Which brings me to my left hand, how she would have me like crying in front of class, and then she would mock me. And that's why I grew hair over my face. The white chains represent the impossibly high expectations for myself that sprouted from this teacher, because I kind of blamed it on myself. See, the next stage was bliss. I'd say I had good friends along with a good teacher who helped me through some anxiety and cared about my learning. See, the face on the left is a tribute to her, and the purple and red border represents that life comes in hills and valleys, which is the name of my piece and something that teacher had taught me. See, the next stage comes in, crushing the bliss of elementary school with middle school. Middle school wasn't very fun. So there was some bullying, but everyone goes through bullying in middle school, but the focal point of my middle school years was in 7th grade. I got 2 consecutive concussions in the middle of the 7th grade, which caused me to be very confused and lost in school, to where I'd be very upset and would have to go home many days. See, the blank face in the center of my face represents the missing pieces of myself. But luckily I'd say quarantine came in and kind of saved me a bit there. It began a month after I got those concussions. And the background being unraveled from this clean black background to these threads represents how quarantine disrupted my life. I have a reflection of a screen in my eye, which shows my addiction to, screens, video games, that it happened through there naturally. So from the solitude of quarantine, that's what the black and pink chains are representing there. So after my first semester back in school, I had a third concussion. Though it was not major, it started a domino effect that is the most recent stage and current stage in my life. And it led to me being off balance one day in PE and falling, which tore one of the ligaments connecting my knee completely off my femur, like ripped off the femur, took some bone with it. And as my classmates know, this led to a lot of future injuries that have occurred in the past year. The tear between the two heads represents that point in my life, and the face on the left cliff side is acknowledging the physical pain I've been through from injury. Though there is a bright side to this stage, the cliffs are drawn from a picture I took in Zion National Park. This trip was the first time I've been away from home in years, which broke the chains of quarantine for me. You will also notice the white set of chains are broken. This is where I thank my rabbis for my confirmation year and learning of Judaism. It helped me reevaluate the pressure I was putting on myself, freeing me from my own bindings. We recognize the hills and valleys in our own cycle of creation at the top of page 4. Hail to the land that scattered space with stars, wrapped in whirling worlds in bright blue blanket, air made words within words, elements in earth, souls within skins, everyone teeming a teeming universe, every tree a system of semantics, and pushed beyond probability to place consciousness on this cooling crust of burning rock. Oh, praise that hand, mind, heart, soul, power, or force that is so enclosed, separated, limited planets, trees, humans, yet breaks all bounds and borders to lavish us in light, love, life, this trembling glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama Ariv Aravim.
Hello. Since my name is Finn Cragen. Since I was 10 years old, I have been dealing with anti-Semitism in different forms. I see anti-Semitism discussed on my television, and I was called a dirty Jew boy in the locker rooms at school. Over time, I learned to brush it under the rug and carry on. It wasn't until one of my musical idols, Mr. Kanye West, started spewing his hateful lies that I truly felt betrayed. I wrote my piece attempting to capture the difference between childlike teasing and being hurt by a hero. Kanye brought my Jewish peers and I closer together. However, we all felt wounded. While I play this piece, I urge you to look inward on how your experiences with anti-Semitism shape your Jewish identity. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Young and Jewful in F major.
Hello. For my confirmation project this year, I baked a cake depicting a doorway to represent a home. I chose a doorway to represent a home because as Jews, in order to make a house into a home, we complete the symbolic step of placing a mezuzah on the door. I've realized that in Judaism, in my life, and in the world, so much can take place in and around a home, and specifically a doorway. I think that the idea of a home and the process of making a house into one gets to the heart of describing my connection to Judaism. I relate to Judaism around the values of sharing and connecting with my community, having an open mind towards stepping outside of what feels comfortable, being passionate about finding learning opportunities, and giving back to my community while striving to make the world a better place by supporting others and caring for what's right. Each of these values is represented in a different aspect of my cake, the first of which is my love for sharing and connecting with my community in ways that make them happy. I get to do this tonight through the cake, which I'm excited you all get to enjoy later on. The image you see behind me is that of a doorway to a home with a mezuzah. Though I don't live there anymore, this is the doorway to the first home I lived in with mezuzah, and the place that inspired my cake's design. Beyond the mezuzah, the doorway itself represents my value of learning and having an open mind towards stepping outside of things that feel comfortable. This year, one of the most powerful things I learned has been to step through the figurative doorways that I encounter by saying yes to new experiences, even when I was not sure what would be on the other side, when they made me nervous or when it would be easier to say no. Though honestly, I was nervous about doing it at the beginning of this year. I'm really grateful that I stepped through the figurative doorway into this community, as this year I've learned about myself, the world, and others, come to better understand my Jewish identity, gained a community, learned to love my Jewish journey, and learned that so much more can change in a year or with one choice than I might anticipate. I couldn't make this slideshow without mentioning the transformative L'Taken Teen Social Justice Seminar, which I was also not too sure about committing to, but ended up being one of the best experiences of my life. Additionally, the doorway and the door depicted on my cake connect to my work over the past 7 years with an organization called Topanga Women's Circle. They set up transitional housing spaces for families moving out of homelessness. We decorate these spaces with all the necessary home goods, furnishings, and other items that turn an uninspiring and definitely not homey space like this into a much more inviting, safe-feeling, and love-filled home like that. Or we might turn an empty kitchen like this into one that is fully stocked and ready for use, like this one, this one, this one, and I think there's one more, or not. All right. Like how a mezuzah makes a house into a home in the more symbolic sense, these items that we bring and the way we set up these houses make a house into a home in the physical sense. My work and my inclusion of these elements into my cake represent my values of helping others by engaging in acts of service, supporting and giving back to my community, and using the skills, resources, and time that I have to hopefully make a positive difference in the lives of others. Lastly, for those of you who are interested in tasting it, this is a chocolate cake decorated with my favorite material, buttercream, and lots of time and fun baking. Now, it's only possible for this cake to embody my value of sharing if you go eat it. So please have some after dinner. Thank you. Please join us in the Ve'ahavta on page 5.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Our trip to Washington, D.C. was a milestone for me on my Jewish journey. My confirmation project is a slideshow expressing the meaning of this trip and what it entailed. In February, we traveled to Washington, D.C. as part of the Religious Action Center Lataken trip. When we arrived at the hotel a few minutes late, in typical LBT fashion, we were greeted by 100 other Jews our age from different parts of the country. Towards the end of this trip, I began to take notice of how special this was. Nobody knew anyone from other temples, but we all had something in common, so it was easy to connect with people and introduce ourselves. We went from dinner to our first program. Throughout the next 2 days, we learned how to lobby on issues we cared about. We were given information on those topics and were taught different ways to combat them. All of this would be in preparation for the speech we would give to a congressperson in our designated districts on Capitol Hill. One of my favorite parts of the trip was seeing sites that I would otherwise learn about in school. We visited the Holocaust Memorial Museum, which is something that I recommend to anyone, Jewish or not Jewish, visiting. The museum gave me a new perspective on what I had previously known about the Holocaust. Everything was intense and in great detail. We also visited the National Museum of African American History and Culture, another museum I recommend visiting. This museum captured many important moments in African American history. It displayed artwork, music, and different parts of African American culture. It also called light to tragic moments in African American history. We visited several memorials such as the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and the Washington Monument, as well as exploring the Georgetown campus. For my speech, I decided to talk about climate change. Gibson, Sean, and I made a combined speech to give to a staff member of Dianne Feinstein in order to persuade her to pass a bill. My section of the speech was about how climate change affected our country personally. I spoke about the effect that climate change has on the homeless population, how that communities in poverty get put out of their houses and onto the streets when extreme weather conditions pass through. My message to the senator was that there had to be something done about climate change because it isn't just the environment that's being affected, but people as well. Is slide 4 slide? Sorry, there's slide 4 if you want to read. This trip was meaningful to my Jewish identity because I was able to battle injustices in my country through my temple and Judaism. Being on this trip made me feel like I was involved in something bigger. I got to connect with other Jewish teens from around the country who I would normally never meet. I felt proud to be Jewish. I realized during this trip that my Jewish identity is more than just what I believe in. The concept of tikkun olam means to repair the world. After our trip to Washington, D.C., as well as the many trips we took over the years at LBT, I found that tikkun olam plays a big role in my Jewish identity, helping our world become a better place. Please join us in Micha Mocha, our call to pursue justice on page 6.
Yala lai 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 lai, yala lai lai lai, yala lai 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 lai, yala lai, kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osef ele. Malchutcha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, malchutcha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, zeli, anu ve'yameru, Adonai yimloch, leolam, leolam va'ed. Yala lai 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 lai, yala lai lai lai, yala lai 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 lai, la la lai, yala lai 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 lai, yala lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai.
Hi, I'm Kyle. I have thought a lot about my Jewish identity for years, and I think, well, I've realized that my biggest connection to my Jewish self is always going to be my grandmother, Shel. When I was a little kid, she would have these Shabbat dinners at her house, and maybe it was seeing family or just being in a room with a bunch of people that really loved each other, but it felt so whole in a way I couldn't really get from anywhere else. Right before her husband, my Zeta, passed away, my grandma joined Leobeck Temple. Not long after that, she roped my family in too, and we haven't looked back since. My grandmother was smart, funny, caring, and more than anything kind. She took every opportunity to spend time with us, and when you talked to her, she made you feel like you were the most important person in the world. The really special part about her is in that moment you were. When she passed away, I felt an empty feeling that I've never really been able to shake. There's something that I always do get a big kick out of when thinking about this, though. If it weren't for the people here, all of you at Leo Beck, I have no idea how I would have handled that loss. The same year that she died was my first year of religious school, where I met some of my best friends standing right here with me today, who I've had some of the best days of my life with. The song I'm going to play for you today is about her, and the title definitely does not make sense from what I've told you so far. It's called Bread and Butter. My grandma used to play this game. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go off script a little and demonstrate what the game was really quickly, because I'm going to go to the piano anyway, and might as well save some transition time. Mom, you want to come up here? This is my mom. All right, so let's pretend this trusty microphone right here is a fire. Oh, fantastic. Let's pretend this trusty microphone stand right here is a fire hydrant or a pole or just anything, in the street, right? My grandma would be holding, my hand because I was like 6. And we would walk through it, and normally you would either let go or go around, but she would swing your arm over, and guess what she would say? Bread and butter. Exactly. Love you, Mom. When we were in the car, and she would drive over a speed bump, she would call it a rumpa bump, a word that makes no sense to anyone, but you'll see it show up in the song once or twice. My grandma had this amazing ability to find the joy in life and make a game out of something that no one else would think or care about. She found this amazing place, and I'll always have her with me because of that. Thank you. Yep. This is bread and butter. Please don't let go of my hand. I won't let you go yet.
take care of you, just like the way you used to do to me. You always made me smile. I haven't for a while, but I will for you, if that's the thing that pulls you through to me. Memories that I see from a simpler time. Every moment I lived and breathed are up in my mind. No, I don't want to let go, but the leaves, they lose their color. I know it's the end of the road, and I'll never love another the way we loved each other, like bread and butter. Please don't leave me here alone. I can't make it on my own. Don't know what to do. My world is colder without you. You gave me your diamond ring, taught my mockingbird to sing, and now I sing for you. I wonder if I told you, if you knew that these memories inside of me from a simpler time leave me sinking in an endless sea. I just wish that we had more time. No, I don't want to let go, but the leaves, they lose their color. I know it's the end of the road, but I'll never love another the way we loved each other, like bread and butter. And every single day, you know, I look up at the clouds, and every choice I make, you know, I try to make you proud. And I'm trying to fight this pain, but sometimes it's so profound. But at least I got this place, and at least it's still around. No, I don't want to let go, but the leaves, they lose their color. I know it's the end of the road, and I'll never love another the way we loved each other, like bread and butter. We recall our ancestors who came before us with the Amidah on page 7. Please rise.
Na 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 svatai tika. Na 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 ufi Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagabol Hagibor ve'anora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh Hakol, Vezoher Hazeh Avot ve'imaot, Umevi Geula Livnei Vnehem, Leman Shemo Be'ava, Melech Hozer Umashiach Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah, Rav Le'oshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar. Micha mocha ba'al gerurot, umido melach, melech memit umechaye, umatzmiya Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata lehayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom, yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated.
So, we're going to start by expanding on Shayna's Jew verse from earlier a bit. Except, in my universe, we're not planets. We're pints of ice cream. In this room, I'm going to estimate, sorry if my estimation's not great, I'm going to say like 80 people. We're going to be optimistic. So that's going to be 80 pints of ice cream. We all have different packaging, different flavors, different tastes, different everything. But when you look around this room, all you see is the packaging, the exterior. Maybe if you're lucky, you get a glimpse into the first layer of somebody, who they present themselves as. You probably think that's all there is to know about this person, but it's not. You don't know every implicit thing going on inside an individual. It's impossible. There's no way to see that. A lot of people in the world are suffering, and there is no way for us to always know. Maybe we see something, but it's likely not even scratching the surface. There are a lot of different people in this room. We all live our own different lives and overlap for the smallest blips, like this evening. Most likely, some people in this room are struggling in one way or another. It might be big or small, or feel big or small, and whatever it is, it's valid. When we look and make judgments from appearances, there's no way to understand the explicit and specific circumstances that go into each other. As an individual, one of us can't solve the crisis of mental health. It takes collective action to create real change. Little actions can help contribute to this. When you're having a really, really awful day, if somebody gives you a hug, gives you a cup of ice cream, listens to your thoughts, it always helps. Maybe it seems like it does nothing, but it makes an impact nonetheless. This project has its roots in little 13-year-old Sarah, who was very bored during the shutdown during the peak of COVID. I started an ice cream business called Santa Monica Creamery, and that was definitely a for-profit business. But it helped keep me busy and happy during a time that I wasn't. Everybody benefited, both me and those who got to enjoy my ice cream, though I will admit I have improved the recipe since then. When we come back to the purpose of this project, I feel that the value I glean from Judaism is the value of community and supporting another in whatever way is possible.
in our community, whether it's LA, Leo Beck, our home, the world, the best thing, in my opinion, that we can do for each other is help each other in little ways. So for my project, I restarted the business, now called Sarah's Scoops. I can pretend to make a really good extended metaphor about ice cream, but that's not the grim reality that motivated this project. The fact of the matter is that my school community has lost 2 students to suicide in the past 2 months. It's incomprehensible, yet it's true. Jordan had a perpetually friendly smile, someone I could always count on in my history class. Yet one day I talked to her, and the next she was gone. When people close to her look back upon this time, there were no identifiable cues that the unthinkable would happen. There was no exterior clue that she was suffering, but she was. What's happened has happened. We can't control the past, but we can influence the future. So for Sarah's Scoops, I'm going to donate to Honor Sleeves, a charity for children's mental health. They provide resources for children and attempt to destigmatize mental health. So many people my age or any age have been struggling in recent years with mental health. Yet many feel like seeking help is not an option. It is. This organization and others like them are working to combat this problem. We might not be able to solve this problem today or anytime soon, but we can turn in the right direction, and that can start with a pint of ice cream. At the end of the service, we will be moving into the social hall for dinner, where my ice cream will be available for dessert. Ice cream does pair excellently well with chocolate cake and my mom's coffee cake, so just putting that out there. Especially the cookies and cream. I do recommend the cookies and cream. I hope you enjoy it enough to scan the barcode to place an order. Unfortunately, I have had to push back the delivery date because I ran out of pint containers and the restaurant supply store has really slow shipping, so I'm sorry. So all proceeds will benefit Honor Sleeves. Thank you.
Sarah spoke so beautifully about how we never truly know exactly what's going on in our lives. In the lives of members of our community, in the lives of our family, or maybe inside of our own souls. Sarah said that when you are having a challenging day, if somebody were to give you a hug, or a scoop of ice cream, or something little, it has the power to help. There are always ways to help, to reach out, and to support. Our next song that we will sing together, it's found on page 9. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. It's our call to bring peace into this world that is in such desperate need of peace. What can we do when we feel like there is nothing to do or nothing to give? We can do as Sarah does. We can give a hug, or we can share some happy ice cream, and we can bring shalom, we can bring peace. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, just a little bit more peace is what we need on page 9. We'll join together.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, shalom. yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam.
Originally, when I was little, I didn't know that much about Judaism. I used to hear Torah passages, but I didn't understand it. Eventually, through spending time at Leobek Temple and through the experiences that it offered me, I learned Jewish ideas about God and other things, like Jewish cooking and reading, Torah, and Jewish travel. The more I did with the temple, I had a better understanding of Judaism. This is my understanding of Judaism through the world. Here are some experiences that I've had in my Jewish journey that have been impactful. In 6th grade, we performed community service doing garbage pickup. In 7th grade, I remember especially going to Skid Row and making food for the homeless at a homeless shelter. It felt good to help because I like to help, and also because I was able to make a connection with the homeless population by hearing how much they appreciate our work. Next, last year, I went with my Leobek classmates on the Arizona trip. I've always been interested in the whole process of immigration. On the trip, from speakers and immigrants themselves, I was able to actually hear about how the immigration process works. It's interesting. The Jewish people have been immigrating their entire lives. I think my family immigrated from Poland in the late 1800s. I'm not sure how they immigrated, maybe with fake passports. I don't know exactly. I'm not sure how they got out of Poland, but it was really interesting to learn about immigration because I was able to see myself and my family in the immigration process. My Jewish journey began with immigration. Most recently, I traveled to Washington, D.C. with my religious school class. It was a good experience for me to get my voice out there. I lobbied to the office of a U.S. Senator speaking about the importance of mental health reform, surrounded by so many Jewish teens from all across the country. I was also able to listen in on a conversation about fighting anti-Semitism with a staff member for an office of the House of Representatives. There I was able to hear her perspective on the topic as well, which was interesting because she knew a lot about anti-Semitism. In conclusion, I've learned a lot and have been able to understand Judaism through these experiences and through the world. This has changed the way I view the world and has made me who I am today.
Our Torah service is going to begin on page 9. We invite you to please rise.
שאו שערים ראשיכם ושאו פתחי עולם ויבוא מלך הכבוד מיהו זה מלך הכבוד אדוני צבאות הוא מלך הכבוד Selah.
In this scroll is the secret of our people's lives from Sinai until now. Its teachings are love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai
You may be seated.
At some point in our lives, we have all felt jealous about something or someone. But what you may not know is that our tradition understands this human instinct and challenges us to address it. On the holiday of Shavuot, we read the 10 Commandments. Each commandment states a different practice that the Torah prescribes. The first commandment states that God is our only God, which leads into commandment 2, which states that God is the only God we can worship. The third commandment says to not misuse God's name. Next, the fourth commandment is to recognize and celebrate Shabbat. The fifth commandment is to respect your mother and father. The sixth commandment is to not kill anyone. The seventh commandment is to not commit adultery. The eighth is to not steal. The ninth is to not lie. And finally, the 10th commandment is to not covet. We decided to focus on the 10th commandment because we wanted to explore why jealousy is prohibited just as much as something like murder. Jealousy is the only commandment that everyone can relate to, as society has now increased our vulnerability to it. We believe that the Torah is aware of human nature and how it is natural for us to be jealous. However, it also tells us how we can move past it and grow from it.
As a competitive gymnast, there's always the desire to improve and then advance to the next level. During off-season, I was pretty confident I'd be able to move up a level because I had most of the skills needed and could utilize the off-season to achieve the skills I almost had. I had a lot of teammates with a similar skill set. However, as the season approached, and a teammate and I found out we were going to stay in the same level, but other teammates who had the same skills as we did were advanced to the next level. This news was particularly devastating because I had been working hard to master these skills. I felt like I was remaining stagnant, and during the season, we are not allowed to upgrade because we must concentrate on cleaning up our routines. During the following practices, I kept comparing myself to the teammates who advanced to see how I could be better and improve. However, there was nothing. In retrospect, this jealousy did not benefit me in any way and only distracted me from the real goal of doing gymnastics and achieving harder skills. I was busy thinking about everyone else, I forgot to focus on my own growth. This situation can apply to anything in life, as covetous inclinations divert our attention away from our real goals. Focusing on what other people have does not benefit us, since their success is not correlated to ours.
One way that jealousy can be seen in the world is through social media. While it is a great way to connect with friends, it can also be a source of jealousy. People we follow post photos and videos of themselves having fun with friends, going to concerts, or on vacation. What we as followers fail to realize is that social media does not share the full story of everyone's lives. It just shows the highlights. Because all we see are the highlights, we get jealous of what other people, or what we think is the full picture of other people's lives. As humans, jealousy is completely normal. However, the 10th commandment is demanding that we stop being jealous of other people's lives that we see on social media and in person. Instead, we should just refocus on our own lives and recognize that we have our own highlights too.
What we want you all to understand is that jealousy is a natural occurrence and can be easily prevented with a changed perspective. You can't control other people's actions, but you can control your own reaction. So many of us have thought, this person looks better than I do, or has more plans, or more friends, or more opportunities, or more stuff, or is smarter than I am, and so on and so on. But the next time something makes you jealous, think about everything you have and how that situation could be much worse than it really is. Don't spend your life comparing yourself to others and thinking about what they have that you don't. Instead, focus on your own unique opportunities, plans, and skill sets, and seek to become the best version of yourself. Then we can all live out the value of the 10th commandment and fight against our tendency to covet.
It has been quite a journey with this incredible group of students, some of them since preschool, others throughout religious school and our teen programs, enjoying meeting weekly for class and attending our annual retreats, and still others joining our cohort this year and traveling together as a class to Washington, D.C. And as you've witnessed tonight, this is a talented and thoughtful, eclectic, quirky, and creative group who isn't afraid to face hard things and to dig into really big questions. Our dear confirmation students, we have been inspired by how you're willing to share your truths so honestly and openly with us and with one another during our weekly class sessions, and your willingness to explore who or what God is and what our purpose might be in this world. And most important, you were not afraid to just be you. It has been a blessing and a joy to watch this group of wise and powerful young Jews and citizens continue to grow and to learn as such unique, fun, loving souls each Sunday together. And so as we celebrate our people's receiving of Torah tonight and prepare to read our 10 Commandments, we're grateful for the Torah that you, our students, have shared so courageously and so authentically with all of us here tonight. And so it is my honor to call up for the honor of the Aliyah, our confirmation class of 5783.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah. Vayedaber Elohim et kol hadavarim ha'ele lemor. Anochi Adonai Elohecha asher hotzeiticha me'eretz Mitzrayim mi beit avadim.
Lo yihye lecha Elohim acherim al panai. Lo ta'aseh lecha thesel v'chol temunah asher bashamayim mimal va'asher ba'aretz mitachat va'asher b'mayim mitachat la'aretz.
Lo tishtahaveh lachem velo to'ovdeim ki anochi Adonai Elohecha Elkana poked avon avot al banim al shileshim ve'al ribeim lesonai.
Ve'oser chesed la'alafim ve'ohavai u'shomrei mitzvotai.
tisa et shem Adonai Elohecha lashav kilo yenakem Adonai et asher yisa et shemo lashav.
Zahor et Yom HaShabbat lekadsho Sheshad Yamim ta'avod ve'asita kol melachteha.
V'yom hashvi'i Shabbat l'Adonai Elohecha lo ta'aseh chol meloha ata uvincha uvitecha avdecha ve'hamata uvhemtecha v'gerecha asher bisharecha.
Ki sheshad yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz et hayam ve'et kol asher bam vayanach bayom hashvi'i al ken v'ra Adonai et Yom HaShabbat vayikadshehu.
Kaved et aviha v'et ineha lema'an ya'arihu yameha ha'adama asher Adonai Elohecha noten la.
Lo tirtza, lo tin'af, lo tignov, lo ta'aneh v're'aha eid shaker, lo takmod beit re'aha, lo takmod eshet re'aha, ve'avdo ve'amato ve'shoro ve'chamoro ve'ho asher l're'aha.
We prepare to return the Torah to the ark. Please rise.
Eitz Chaim hi lamachazikim ba vetomcheha meushar derachecha tarchei noam vechol netivotecha
Confirmation class of 5783. You guys outdid yourselves tonight. You've brought us Torah as we've never seen Torah before. And we are inspired and we are grateful. I want you all to just think for a moment, everyone here, about the wildly diverse and creative excavations that we just witnessed into the gift that we call Torah. We were toured through the wanderings of these 10 students on their way to Sinai tonight, from our temple's preschool to the religious school, from their conscience awakening trips to the homeless, to Skid Row, to the border, to their soul-shaping adventures at the Religious Action Center in Washington, D.C. We were invited into their pain with arresting artwork demonstrating the yearning to emerge from suffering, with a cake that we will get to eat, representing the call to step outside our comfort zone in service of those in greatest need, with ice cream we will get to eat, representing our tradition's demand to use our talents and our time to comfort those who are hurting. Ice cream and cake prepared by our students. A first at Leo Beck Temple, confirmation a la mode. We were reintroduced to the last of the 10 Commandments, the call to refrain from coveting, and granted the gift of seeing it anew through young and visionary eyes. We experienced the debut of 2 new compositions. One, a bold and heart-searing response to the scourge of anti-Semitism and its capacity to rob us of our security and even sometimes of our heroes. The other, a tender expression of one of Judaism's most important mitzvot well-lived, Nichum Avelim, bringing comfort to those who mourn the people they've loved and miss. And for the first time in Leo Beck Temple history, the major Jewish festival of Shavuot opened with a really awesome physics lesson. But it wasn't only the words and illustrations of self-appointed class super nerd Shayna Berman that taught us how we are connected to one another much more fundamentally than we tend to recognize. You guys have understood that and modeled that all year long, and never more beautifully than you did tonight. Shayna taught us a little physics. You all showed us exactly how it works. You see, when you get right down to it, here at Leo Beck Temple, we are just a clump of Jews held together by gravity. But we all have a little something to say about what will comprise that gravitational pull, and about the degree to which we will allow ourselves to be drawn in by it, the degree to which we will refrain from attempting to repel it and one another, as our surrounding culture conditions us to do. The confirmation class of 5783 has just demonstrated what our Torah, brought to us more than 100 generations ago from Mount Sinai, was created to teach: that human goodness, embraced generously and rigorously, is an appending force that enables us to survive and thrive. This class knows that and shows that. They have no weird uncles that everybody decided to disown. Gravity has drawn in the quieter ones and emboldened them to use their voices. Gravity has affirmed all of the common soul properties, even among 10 vastly and blessedly different spirits. What a gift for us tonight, their diversity. Some of them go all the way back to our preschool with one another. One of them was welcomed completely brand new to a long-established group. All of them make us exceptionally proud and better equipped to be a part of the Leo Beck Temple galaxy. Yes, you all rose to the moment, the Sinai moment that this night represents. You rose truly to model human gravitational pull. And the results were, both for you and for us, your teachers, the results were incredibly satisfying. We delighted in seeing you share so generously with one another about your own lives when we used Jewish texts as a tool for understanding the deep challenges that you face each and every day as teenagers. And we cherished the way you explored your beliefs and your disbeliefs about God with absolute truthfulness, rejecting old assumptions, not just to be rejectionists, but to move toward new theologies that can serve you well as you continue to grow. And you were nothing short of inspirational on Capitol Hill, demanding change from our legislators with passion and principle on so many important fronts, from combating anti-Semitism to protecting reproductive rights, from addressing the ominous march of climate change to prioritizing the preservation of our mental health. It all coalesced in pointing to this one night, this one moment, when, as it turned out, you would not lead us back to Sinai. No, you led us forward to a Sinai we had not seen before. You led us to a window that opens up the Jewish expression of tomorrow. And you told all of us grown-ups, this Torah is mine. And I'm going to make of it something new for my moment in Jewish history. And let me tell you something, that is why there is a Torah that has survived for all of Jewish history. Someday your kids will come along and they will unroll that scroll as you did tonight. And they will push it and prod it and challenge it and adapt it in ways that might even make you a bit uncomfortable. And all they'll be doing is ensuring Torah's survival, and leading you right back to the wonderment of Sinai, where you led all of us tonight. And so for you, on this night, when Sinai beckons with a new voice, your voice, I want to share a poem with you that's written by a good friend of mine and a fellow Jewish artist, Rick Lupert. It's a poem that he wrote about your Sinai, about the physics that will keep you and us and it forever united in this moment across all time. He wrote, I was at Sinai. I remember what I was wearing, what the ground felt like, who was standing next to me, the looks on everyone's faces. When Moses came down with the stones telling us, this is going to be good. Pay attention, people. You'll be telling your children about this. I was at Sinai. My wisdom was young and old then. Now I am just old, and my wisdom has left the building, or maybe it's still at the mountain. I was at Sinai well before they put in the gift shop, back when the only gift was a golden calf, and in the end no one wanted it. Not our best moment, but it was our moment. We've had so many moments. When I was at Sinai, we didn't look at our watches. Forget about the fact that there weren't watches. We didn't want them. And don't you get it? We're still there now. We are all a part of the circle. We're the beginning and the end. We receive it every day. This is your permanent online status. Sinai was the first place we held hands, but not the last. In fact, I never let go. We are still holding hands. I choose to be a part of the circle as if I have a choice. I could ignore the circle, travel 1,000 miles from the circle, but turn around and see I haven't gone anywhere. It is a big circle orbiting you, Sinai, where the property values are holding steady. O Sinai, to say I was with you is to pretend I left, is to conceive I was ever anywhere else. O Sinai, I stand in your circle. I see the world through your eyes, your holy eyes. Confirmation class of 5783. You are now a part of the circle. Travel wherever you may from this day forward, but you will remain a part of the circle, our circle, the orbit of Sinai. Gravity will ensure it. And wherever you go, we will still be holding hands. You are precious to us, will be precious to us, and we will long see this world through your eyes, your holy eyes. Amen. I get the great privilege, as I did with many of them on Bar and Bat Mitzvah Day, lo, those many years ago, to stand at our ark to share loving words of blessing with our confirmands tonight. I want to draw to your attention during that time of blessing the back pages of this prayer booklet, pages 18 through 24, 18 through 24. Each of our students has prepared a personal statement speaking of their Jewish journey to this moment, the story that they wish to tell all of us, to share with all of us about this journey to Sinai and forward from it. And so I invite you during this quiet time to spend a little time acquainting yourself with these 10 Sinai stories as we spend time in loving and respectful blessing.
Charlotte Nurock. Reagan. Sean Ball. Sarah Siegel. Lucian Ball. Robbie Rapp.
How blessed we are, each and every one of us, to be filled with all the wisdom, all of the honesty that has richly recreated Torah for all of us. We are grateful for the gift of life, for being sustained through a most crazy time, so that we might arrive at this night of Shavuot, accompanied by these 10 teachers, so that we might be inspired by their wisdom and carry forward the blessing of their lessons. I invite you to join in sanctifying this night with us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
A few weeks ago, our confirmation class held a really awesome bake sale. We had crunchums and chocolate delights that we baked and sold to the people of Leo Beck during religious school. Through this, we raised about $700. That's your cue to clap. As a class, we had to decide where this money would go. We decided to put the money towards a scholarship program for teens to go on LBT trips.
I spoke earlier about how much the confirmation trip to Washington, D.C. meant to me. This money will go towards scholarships for helping other LBT families who may not be able to afford this trip or other LBT teen trips so they can have the same meaningful experience like we did.
thank you for that beautiful, meaningful gift so that other teens can have the same experiences that you can have. And also, in addition to thanking you for the gift, I also want to thank you for the intangible gift that you gave us tonight, all of you. It was an incredible service, and we are so grateful, the entire community, for the teaching that you provided to us tonight.
Please rise for the Festival Kiddush on page 14. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol am veromemanu mikol lashon v'kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'atiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava moadim l'simcha chagim uzmanim l'sason et yom chag hashavuot hazeh zeman matan toratenu mikra kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim u'moadei kodshecha v'simcha uv'sason hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh Yisrael v'hazmanim. The Aleinu can be found on page 15. We'll continue to be standing and join together. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'hatek gdula l'yotzer Bereshit, shelo asanu piduyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahen, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד ושמו
The words of Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, can be found on page 16. We invoke these words which speak not at all of the sadness of separation, of death. All of this we invoke because the gift of memory is what enables us to hold fast to those who have completed earlier journeys to Sinai, gifted us with their Torah, and entrusted us to carry it forward and to teach it to those who will follow us. For the gift of being a part of that continuum, we join together in these sacred words. Page 16, if you're able, please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma divrach rutei ve'amlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uv'yisman kariv imru amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal. Shemei dekudsha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. May the giver of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved among us, and let us together say, Amen. Please stay right where you are. We're about to conclude our service together, first with a closing melody, a prayer for each and every one of us as we go on our way, at the top of page 17, and then with closing words of blessing from Rabbi Goldberg, and then it will be time to head directly next door into our social hall. For those of you not familiar with the space, you'll head out the doors that you entered the sanctuary and just instantly make a U-turn, and you'll be on the other side of this wall, and oh my, a yummy holiday festival dinner awaits us there, not to mention confirmation a la mode. So we encourage you to join us in all of the yummy goodness. First and foremost, though, let us join together in blessing the journey we're about to take together.
May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Sheltered by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way to every soul. May this be our blessing. Amen.
Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, O Holy One of Blessing, your presence fills creation. On this evening of creation, bless our confirmands of 5783 and their families and their entire community tonight. May this confirmation class be bolstered and held and loved as they continue embarking upon their Jewish journeys from this day forward. May they be blessed in continuing to nurture their passions of music and writing and artistry and Torah, science and baking and justice. And for us, just like the holiday of Shavuot invites us to learn and grow from Torah, may we too have the opportunity to learn and grow from the Torah of our students. May we all hold and internalize the love and the passion and the drive that our confirmands of 5783 offer us tonight. Let us bless their comings and their goings. May they go from strength to strength. And let's all say, Amen. Mazel tov to the confirmation class of 5783.